Hello everyone, I'm Daena Jeanne Antonelli, Manners and Etiquette Consultant. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. In this channel, I talk about manners, etiquette, and anything that can help you become the best version of yourself through those practices. Now, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so happy to know that you have at least found my previous videos fascinating enough to come back for more. For today's video, I'm going to share 6 things to help you become a better communicator. Communication is an essential part of our lives, whether we're communicating with friends, family, especially strangers, right? So it's important to know the proper etiquette when it comes to communicating. So let's get to it. Number 1, active listening. It means being fully present and engaged throughout the conversation. I would suggest avoiding distractions and maintaining that eye contact that we talked about in the previous videos. For example, I have a friend who I can tell that she looks like she's listening, but she's not. So oftentimes I would ask her what I said just to repeat it. And 9 times out of 10, she doesn't know what I was saying. So I have, nicely coached her. I told her, you have to really pay attention when people are talking to you. I'm her friend, so I know how she is. But if she were to speak with a stranger, then it just doesn't look good on her part, right? It's kind of almost disrespectful and rude that she wasn't paying attention. I know today we're just so busy. There's so much going on in our heads that are keeping us occupied. But if you are with someone and they are talking to you, pay attention. Listen to what they have to say. Number 2, use appropriate language. I would avoid using slang, profanity, and any offensive language when you're talking to someone. You want to also tailor your language to whoever you're speaking to. For example, if you were to engage in a conversation with someone from a different background culturally, using slang that we use here in America, they might not understand what it means. So just make sure you're speaking eloquently and just basic English, to be honest. Number 3, be clear and concise. You want to avoid overcomplicated language when you're talking to someone. Just get to the point. Use examples or analogies to clarify your points and make sure that the other person is understanding what you are saying. Now, I'll give you an example from my retail experience. One of my coworkers would come to the back if I were in the back, and she would say, Daena, could you please assist this gentleman? He's looking for a bracelet. And that's it. Now, that didn't really tell me which gentleman, what the gentleman looked like. Now, I could go outside on the sales floor and there could be 2 or 3 other gentlemen, and I wouldn't know who needed my assistance. So on her end, she could have given me details of what the gentleman looked like, if he was wearing a coat or a shirt, what color the shirt was, and also what kind of bracelet he needed to purchase. As you can see from a work communication, what was lacking on her end. So just be clear, concise, straight to the point, give details. And that's it. Number 4, practice empathy. Now, empathy is the ability to understand what the other person is feeling. It's important to practice empathy when you're communicating with someone because it puts you in their shoes. You're understanding what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, and you want to validate that. And you want to make sure that you're with them, not against them. So an example would be you're communicating with someone and English isn't really their first language. I've seen this time and time again in movies, shows, and it happens in real life. People would raise their voice as if the person is deaf. They're not deaf or stupid, they just don't speak English as their first language. And they're just trying to communicate with you the best that they can. The way to empathize is to put yourself in their shoes and understand how they're feeling. So imagine if you go to a different country and you don't speak their language, right? And you're trying to communicate with the person from that country. How does that work? You would be frustrated as well, but you're doing your best to communicate with them. So in this situation, just be kinder to one another. This will help get your point across instead of just being rude or belittling the other person. Number 5, avoid interrupting. It's as clear as it can get. Not only is it rude, disrespectful to the other person, but it can derail the conversation, making you an ineffective communicator. Number 6, be respectful. Another easy one. You want to treat people with dignity and kindness. Even though you may not agree with what the other person has to say, everyone's entitled to their own opinions and their beliefs, and you have to respect that. Avoid attacking or belittling the other person when you don't agree with them. So those are 6 tips that will help you become a better communicator. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section down below. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.